Taking Chippy to get groomed, and then I gotta, while he's getting groomed, I'm gonna run over to Walmart. I need a new knife. The knife that I use on Raw Diet is a Bowie knife, and it was so sharp I cut my finger real bad, so I sort of dulled it out. But now it's too dull, and it was my own fault, so that's ridiculous. Like, I'm gonna dull. It was so sharp though, you know, for what I was doing. Maybe I'll dull this one out again. It's a mossy oak is what it is. Real sharp. Doesn't really matter. I just crazy glued my finger as I remembered. It was cut. It was like real deep. It's those Bowie knives are they're heavy. They're big, so you could really screw yourself up. You can, and I forgot what I was doing, but I did cut myself. And hang on, there's something going on up here. I see lights. Something happened at the church down the road. There were, God, 25 cop cars. What was it? A lunatic with a gun. People. It's Sunday. It's, you know, God only knows. It seemed like a lot of cops at a church. It's not good. One thing that I'm going to start doing is Chippy's always going to go in the car with me. No matter where I'm going, I want him in the car because he gets nervous in the car. The only way he's going to get better at it is by being in the car. He's it's not too bad on the way up here. He calmed down after a while. He was sleeping. That's the sign, you know, the dog's starting to relax. But like, I just put him in, and he's like, you know, heavy panting, stuff like that. So I want him to get over this. It's like there's no big deal. There's no reason to get nervous. He doesn't get car sick. I haven't seen him do it. So Chippy's going to Dandy with me. He's good. Chippy, you're going to Dandy a lot with me. Yes. Go for a ride with me and Remy. I got him in a crate. He can see me. I got him in a crate up top, like high, so he can see me. But he's just, you know, right, Chip? He's responsive. He's not so freaked out. He's not responsive. Some dogs are like that. It's like so much excitement that they can't, like, you know, they can't function at all. Chippy's vaccine isn't up to date, so they won't groom him. So I'm terrible at grooming. I am. I'm not good at it. Just sort of walking around Petco trying to think of what I'm gonna do. I guess I'm gonna have to groom him. Terrible at it. Sucks. We didn't get Chippy groomed, but we did get him a little sweater that he seemed to like. He told me it looks real collegiate in it. He said all the bitches will think he's hot. They already do think you're hot, Chippy. Bitches love Chippy. Are you kidding me? This golden retriever that was in there was looking Chippy up and down like he's a prize-winning heifer at the fair. Right, Chip? Look at him. Chippy Whippy. Good boy, Chip. If you give your dog Raw Diet, you're probably going to want something like this. This is $20. This is made by Old Timer, and it's a Bowie knife. And these are very helpful for cutting up chicken, taking and smacking chicken for like puppies. You can cut it up like this real fast. If you have a meat cleaver at home, that'd work too. But you have to have something like this. It's $20. It's super, super sharp. Super sharp. All you need to do is put your chicken on butcher block, smack, 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 smack. It'll cut it up, grind it up for the puppy. You should not be giving a puppy that has milk teeth bone-in chicken unless it's smashed or cut up. And I mean cut it up, like, I mean really cut it up good. These are very helpful. I just replaced my one that I've had for years. Mossy Oak makes one too at Walmart that's real sharp like this and real heavy, so it's easy to cut up chicken. Recommend them highly. They're cheap. The Mossy Oak one was the one I was looking for. That was $20 too. This was $20 plus you get a pocket knife. Something else that you might want to have if you do Raw Diet, good pair of scissors. You can use scissors to cut up stuff, but this is great. This is not getting my work done. It's not. Bums me out. One of the worst experiences I've ever had in a Walmart. I want to get home. I want to get back to work. And there was nothing in there that I really wanted, that I was looking for. I was looking for that mossy oak Bowie knife. I ended up buying one. It was cheap. It's 15 bucks. It's an Old Timer. Old Timer makes it. Probably fine. It's just, you know, you go into Walmart that you're not used to. Can't find shit. Opinion 10 last night. I was talking to her and she said, okay, you got a pen? And I said, no. And she said, well, I want you to write down these 4 words. And I said, well, just tell them to me and I'll remember them. So she told me the words. One of them, the last one, was hook. Like something, like beef, something, hook. And then I said, okay, no, I know the words. And then she goes, okay, now say them real fast. It was ridiculous. It was like, you end up sounding like you sort of have an Irish accent, and the last word hook comes out as like fook, something like that. It's ridiculous. It's like I was dealing with like an 8th grader. It was hysterical. It was funny. It was funny. Cause I didn't even know what she was talking about. And she said, "Okay, now say them real fast." Like I'm like, oh, like what's that? Like say Jack me off or something. I have to go to the bank, and the bank for me, Chase Bank, when I'm upstate, is about 50 miles away, something like that. So I have Chippy in the car, and the reason why Chippy's in the car is because he's a little shaky in the car. Your dog doesn't get better. It doesn't get better by, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna avoid that. So while he's with me, any chance that I get, I'm gonna put him in the car, and you know, he has to go with me. That's just how it is, right, Chippy? He's not. He's just a little shaky. He does it, you know, a little panting. That's the only way they get over it. Now I'm not gonna console him at any time. There's no way I'm like consoling him. Never console any dog that's doing that, and it will start dissipating. Thinking about the vegans, you know, they're ridiculous. Like, they're just making shit up. We took Chippy to be groomed the other day, and we had the wrong rabies certificate, so we didn't get any of that done. But as soon as I went into Petco, or Pets, wherever it was, Petco I think, I had to buy him a new coat. I had to buy him a new sweater. He's cute. What am I gonna do? Like, I see these little coats and stuff for dogs. Am I not gonna buy one? I did the same thing when I went into Walmart. Oh, let's see what they have in an extra small for Chippy. Now, does Chippy really need a coat? No, not really. He doesn't really need a coat. In other words, like if I take him out for just to go to the bathroom, does he need a coat? No, he doesn't. There's no dog that really needs that. I'm sorry to say this, but it's the truth. Like, if you're going to talk about your Italian Greyhound, I'm sorry. It's a dog. You've turned your dog into the freak by, oh, it's cold out, I must put the coat or the sweater on the dog. In other words, when I'm working Chippy all day, the sweater doesn't come on and off, it stays on. It could stay on overnight. I'm not taking it on and off. Never, ever, when it's raining out or something, you're like, oh, I gotta put a raincoat on the dog. You will mess the dog up doing that. I'm not kidding, man. You're telegraphing something to the dog that there's some kind of, like, to go outside, you have to have this on. You turn them into a shivering mess. I'm not kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. Your dog doesn't need a raincoat. Now, a sweater, is it helpful if we're outside with a dog like Chippy? Yeah, because we're out longer than 5 minutes. So I do have a sweater on him. As far as like hunting dogs go, I don't recommend those neoprene vests. That's really a bad idea. It is, and I bought those and I used those for some years, and then I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I think it makes the dog colder. And it does. If you have a water dog and it goes in the water and gets wet, it needs to be able to shake off properly, and it can't with the neoprene on. So it's counterproductive, and it isn't like a wetsuit. A wetsuit is all sort of sealed up, and the water in there is going to stay warm. Those things aren't sealed up. There's air blowing in there. That, you know, it just doesn't make any sense. The dog is designed a certain way to be good in water, and to, you know, to go in cold water. You certainly wouldn't need anything like that for a Chesapeake Bay or something. I see Chessie's being advertised with like these, it's all about selling the product, but the Chessie doesn't need, it doesn't need anything like that for cold water. Come on, it's like dealing with a Chesapeake Bay. It's like, I've had two, and it's like dealing with a polar bear. It's just nonsense. And they did studies years ago that with children that were wild children. I think there's one, the first one was done in the 1500s by a French scientist, and what he saw was that like the child had no perception of it being cold out, didn't care about snow. It's like it's this perceived thing in humans. Oh, it's cold out, you know. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm probably more so than it was, say, 800 years ago. 800 years ago was just sort of like matter of fact. Chippy, what are you doing, dude? So you could do the same thing to your dog. Like if you start dealing with the dog, like it's cold out, you have to have this on, you just turn the dog into a shivering mess. There is not a dog in the world that cannot handle freezing cold temperatures for a few minutes to go to the bathroom. If it's cold out, maybe they'll go quicker. You don't do this. And if you're gonna have a coat on, he's gonna have this on all day. It's no big deal. This dog doesn't chew. He can sleep in this. If your dog chews on it, then you have to take it on and off, but your dog might not need it anyway. By the way, these terriers, they mature really quick. All the terriers, well, not all of them, but most of them, like the smaller ones, like by the time the dogs are 6 months old, they sort of act adult. They do. Like you look at like a Labrador or something like that. Labs, they stay babies for 2 years or 3 years. But all the terriers, like they get up to speed real fast. Those Jack Russell Terriers, all these dogs that are known ratters, they get mature real fast. So by the time a Jack Russell is 6 months, it's ready to kill. And those dogs out of the box are ready to kill. You shouldn't just don't go get a Jack Russell at like an animal shelter and have like birds or small animals around it until you know that dog is going to be safe, and it's probably not going to. Don't leave them alone. Jack Russells, man, they are killers. But he needs it because we're out longer. He does. He needs it, and he also needs the sweater on because I think it looks cute in it. I'm like that, man. I've dressed up all my dogs at some point. This isn't my dog; it's a client, but I think he looks cute in the sweater, and it is cold out, so it does have some function. Chippy, here. No, here, over here. Come here. No, here. There you go. Sit. Good boy. Chippy, down. No, down. We got to get in work mode. We got to get back to work. Chippy, sit. Your dog doesn't need a coat. It doesn't need a sweater. It can be helpful if they're going to be out for a real long time. Bird dogs, if you want to put a neoprene on them, that's a different story. They're not generally going into the water, but if they do go into the water, they're not going to be able to shake that water off. They're still going to be wet. But those neoprene can really help, like protect their chest when they're going into the thick brush. But it really isn't that necessary. If your dog's just going out to the bathroom for 5 minutes, you're going to cause problems by taking that approach. Oh, it's so cold out, we had to put the sweater on. You keep doing that over and over again, then you got a dog. Or the worst is the dog that's afraid of rain. All those dogs that are afraid of rain, the owner has caused it. Definitely. And you could have done it unwittingly. You could have. Oh God, it's raining or something. Your response, your dog picks up on that. So to get the dog not to be like that, go outside in the rain. I'm not saying if it's 35, it's colder than 35. It's below 32 right now. But if it was 35 degrees, I wouldn't say do it if it's a heavy rain. What I'm saying is in the spring and the summer, when it's not too bad, it's just raining a little bit, take the dog out there. Make sure that they get used to, it's just weather. It's just part of nature. It's nothing to be afraid of. Right, Chippy? Chippy could go through a hurricane, though. Look at him. It's like a little stud. Little man. Here, do it down one more time. Chippy, no, down. Down. It's Chippy. Chippy, sit. Good boy. I put out a video stating that the vegan diet is just unnatural and unhealthy. And the reason for this, the proof is that they have to supplement their diet with B12. That B12 only comes from animal sources like meat, eggs, milk, stuff like that. And I knew this would happen, that all kinds of just nonsense. I just had some guy saying, well, a cow eats grass in a field. Where does he get its B12 from? You know, it's just like, what? If you don't, he has no idea. You know, he has no idea, but that's what he's claiming, that, you know, so since a cow gets B12 from eating grass, we should be able to do that too. It's nonsense. It's like they can't look beyond that. Not everything's like us. They're not, and that's what they think. So the cow produces B12 in its gut through bacteria. Some animals do this by eating their poop. That's the truth. And without that, they will get sick. So like rabbits have to eat their poop. This is very common. Other animals eat meat. That's where they get their B12 from. It's just absurd. It's absurd. Like, if the vegan gets their B12, it's made. It's produced by us. It's man-made. They do it sort of the same way with bacteria in a laboratory. That's how they produce the B12. It's just nonsense. It's utter nonsense. They go down this list of, like, you know, stating facts that aren't true, or just like they're either not true or they're like sort of half-truths, you know, to justify their unnatural and unhealthy diet. I'm sorry, but if you're a human and you want B12, you're going to have to get it from eating meat or fish or milk or cheese, something like that. That's where it comes from, or take a supplement. And I have other idiots saying things like, well, you can drink like almond milk and get B12, you know? Well, it's not from the almonds, it's because it's fortified. That's the point that I'm trying to make. If you're a vegan, you have to take supplements. You have to eat fortified foods. You cannot get B12 any other way. That means it's unnatural. It's an unnatural diet. Live with it. It's fine if that's what you want to do. Being vegetarian and eating fish and eggs every now and then sort of makes more sense, but you should probably, even if you're doing that, take a supplement. I'm not attacking you. I'm not. I'm just stating the facts. It's very unnatural. It is. It's not healthy, okay? It's not healthy. Unless you take a vitamin B supplement. These are the same people that think that, you know, because he thinks that a cow just eating grass is going to get B12, that he is going to get B12. This is the same person that would feed their dog or cat a vegetarian diet. If you're doing that, you better be using the dog food, because the dog food will be fortified with the things that your dog needs. Do I think it's healthy for your dog to have a soy-based diet? No. No. It should be eating a raw diet. It shouldn't be eating pet food to begin with. It should be eating what it naturally would eat in the wild, which is raw meat and bone. That's a fact. And without the bone, without calcium, you'll make the dog sick too. That's the other, even the vegetarian that thinks that, like, well, I'm gonna give my dog the proper diet. Many times they just give their dog raw meat. They call it the raw meat diet. So there's no calcium and no bone in there. I'm contacted by these people constantly. They just think everything's like them. Everything centers around them. Well, it doesn't. If you don't want to take your B12 supplement, you think that you're going to get it from eating. Animals have to eat their poop to get B12. It's a fact. I'm not making this up. Many of them. If they're not going to eat meat, so what are you going to say? You're going to tell me that it's a natural. So what are you going to do? Eat poop? Where are you going to get your B12 from? It doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter anyway, even if you did that, because you're not a rabbit, okay? You're not a rabbit. So you'll make yourself sick is what you'll do. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're a vegan? Take your B12 and know that it's an unnatural diet. And if you don't take B12, you're going to get real unhealthy. Pernicious anemia is a bitch. It will affect you if you don't stay up on it. If you don't stay up on it, if you have lack of B12, you'll just start totally losing your memory. Telling you, take your B12 supplement. Eat whatever you want. I don't really care. They'll be bragging about turning your cat into a vegetarian, though, or your dog, because I'll just, I'll remove that comment. I don't want anybody thinking that that's healthy. It's not. Do whatever you want. I could care less. Seriously. I was doing all this work in the basement before I went to Brooklyn, and I left it like a sty. I still need to throw stuff away. This sucks, but look at what's in this. There's a couple of sump pits around here. Look at what's in the sump pit.